I'm sorry if you guys can hear. I live right by the road, so you're probably going to be hearing cars, but you know, it just adds a little texture. Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Hannah, and on this channel we talk about things like spirituality, self-improvement, and so much more. So today we are going to be talking about the benefits of stepping outside of your comfort zone. I have some notes here. I'm pretty much just gonna let what comes through come through. Benefits of stepping outside of your comfort zone. So when you're outside of your comfort zone, this is huge to be outside of your comfort zone because it's something that not a lot of us want to do. You know, some people are like, no, I'm perfectly fine right here in my little zone. So keep your YouTube video to yourself. And that's totally fine. But for those willing to listen, I want to emphasize the importance of getting outside of your comfort zone and the benefits it can have, not just in that one experience of getting out of your comfort zone, but it will develop your mind and your body and in such a beautiful way that's really going to benefit your self-improvement and personal growth. So it'll add to, obviously, getting outside of your comfort zone. You're going to be having new experiences, right? When we do the same things every day, I think, kind of forget, you know, that there is outside of our comfort zone. It's like we kind of get used to being cozy and comfortable, and I think it's part of our experience to want to get out of that comfort zone. So when we're little and our guardian, our parents take us to, you know, first grade or kindergarten, we're nervous, right? We're nervous for the first day of school. I remember I was nervous for the first day of school every single year, okay? And that's considered to be outside of our comfort zone the first time we do it, right? Because we've never done it before. So we're being told, you know, you have to go to school. So you have to be outside of your comfort zone, okay? And then it comes to other things where, you know, we're kind of told this is, you have to do this, and it pushes us outside of our comfort zone. But as we get older and older and we're not under that guardianship anymore, I think, forget that the benefit of being outside of our comfort zone and the amazing things that can come from being outside of our comfort zone, because it is so comfortable for most people to not veer from that, right? Because when you're outside of your comfort zone, you can feel anxiety, you can feel nervous, you may feel excited, you may feel stressed out, you may feel scared, you may feel, you know, shy, embarrassed. It's bringing up all of these emotions inside our bodies to be felt. And most people don't like when emotions are felt in their body that are considered negative emotions. So I encourage us as adults, as someone that's under our own guardianship, and even as young adults or teenagers, to not only be choosing what our parents are telling us that what we need to be doing, you know, but also be choosing things that are going to purposefully put us outside of our comfort zone. So one of the things that comes from being outside of your comfort zone is it enhances your problem solving skills and it enhances your critical thinking skills, which is so big, right? I think for me, I want to keep expanding my mind. I want my mind to keep growing. I want to keep adding to my knowledge and to my experiences, right? That's what makes life fun. If we stay in this little box, we don't get to change, we don't get to grow, we don't get to just experience new things because we're used to doing the same thing every single day. So for most of us, you know, people will wake up, they may eat breakfast, they go to work, they come home, you know, they do their normal routine day in and day out. It's very inside your comfort zone, which is totally fine. But I encourage that in that normal routine, you know, adding in things where you're outside, because this is what happens. So let me give you an example with travel. I've done a lot of traveling, which I think is where this the passion for this idea comes from, because I've seen it develop me, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. It really changes how you think and the person you are, which is such a beautiful thing. So let's say you go backpacking, you decide to go backpacking, you're solo backpacking, you get your backpack, and the first problem or critical thinking you're gonna run into is that you don't know what to pack. Okay, I ran into this. I was like, I have no idea what to pack. Luckily, I have friends that have done backpacking as well. So I got to kind of ask them some questions, right? You're gonna start maybe Googling, you're reaching out to others who have done this, and also you're critically thinking, okay? You're asking your mind, what am I gonna need on a day-to-day basis when I'm in a foreign country alone with one backpack, okay? So you kind of have to start problem solving in that moment. Do I need all of these things, or can I replace these things with one smaller item? So like, for an example, a Swiss Army knife. That was like gold on my travels. That has so many different benefits to the one little, it's one little pocket knife. And so you're critically thinking of what's going to benefit me the most on my travels. So you get all that put together, and then you get to the country you're going to, or wherever your destination is, and let's say there's a language barrier there, right? Because if you're traveling to another country, there may be some kind of language barrier. So now you're having to problem solve, how am I going to get from here to here, maybe from the bus station to my hostel, not speaking this language, not knowing what the signs are saying, etc. So now you're having to reach out to the people that live in that country, and it's causing you to now really be outside of your comfort zone, and you're really in a place where you have to be outside of your comfort zone, right? Or you're not going to get to where you need to go. Okay, so you're having to problem solve. I can't just sit I can't just sit at the bus station and hope some flying turtle's gonna come in and take me to my hostel. No, I've got to figure out what I'm gonna do, right? So you're already starting, you're working your brain, which is so beautiful. When you're traveling, when you're backpacking, there's always, you've got to be on it pretty much all the time, because you've never been in that circumstance before. So your brain is having to like constantly be thinking, constantly be problem solving. And then this is the beauty of it, as you continue to travel, you start getting better at the things you could not do at the beginning, right? Because the beginning is a clean slate. You don't know anything about what you're about to be doing. After a month, after a week or two, you start to pick up on little things. Okay, your brain starts knowing because you've already done it once. You've already done it twice. And then even if you haven't done it, your brain is now in this almost like healthy survival, or I guess healthy critical thinking mode for the past month or two, or past week or whatever. So now your brain's more equipped. It's like, oh, I've seen something like this situation before. So now I can kind of pick from what, this is what your brain's saying. I've seen something like this situation before. So now I can kind of pick from what I had done in the past, even though it's not the exact situation. Now I can pick and kind of string together. Now I'm problem solving, right? Because I've been learning to use my critical thinking skills. So now my problem solving skills are coming to fruition. They're coming into play, and it's like you become quicker. It's really an interesting experience. I highly, highly, highly recommend solo traveling for anyone that has not solo traveled. And I'm happy to give advice on that, of course, because it changed a lot of who I am, and I know it changed a lot of who other people are. And so yeah, let's keep on trucking. So right, so that mentally strong, it gets you mentally strong. Okay, because now that your brain has done, and I use travel as an example, this can be with anything. Okay, you can go join a painting class, right? Anything that's outside of your comfort zone. I just use travel as an example because it has a lot of different, pieces to it, like the backpack, the hostel, the transportation. It just has a bunch of different pieces that were easier for me to explain. But this can go for anything outside of your comfort zone. Anything you've never done before is something outside of your comfort zone. Anything that makes your heart beat really fast, anything that makes you, a little nervous, excited, maybe a little sweaty palmed, that you have not done before is outside of your comfort zone. So anything you choose is beautiful and is adding to you and is growing you into the person you want to be and the person you are. So it's allowing for personal growth. And in this personal growth, you're learning to problem solve. And then also you have this sense of confidence behind you. Because at first you're really scared, you're really nervous, you don't really want to do it, but you're kind of forcing yourself to do it because you watched my video and now you're hearing the benefits of it, and so you're going to go force yourself to do something uncomfortable, right? And so you don't really want to do it at first, and then once you do it, you're like, I can do anything now, right? It becomes like your confidence just enhances, because now you've taught your subconscious brain that thought, oh, we're in survival mode, we're gonna die if we do anything outside of our comfort zone, which is valid, because that's what would have happened back in the day. But now doing things outside of your comfort zone within reason, I wouldn't say go do something dangerous that's actually gonna kill you. Don't do that. It's not what I'm recommending. But like going and taking a martial arts class that you've never taken before, or buying some roller skates and doing that as a new hobby. Things like this that are just gently. Those aren't going to kill you. And you're teaching your brain that, oh, I was really nervous and scared and I still survived, right? I made it out alive and I had fun doing it. So now for next time, you're training your brain. We can train our brains. Our brains are very malleable. You can change them. You can change with the way you're thinking, and the way you're acting, the way you're behaving, and it will change your outer world as well, which is this idea of manifesting. This is kind of like the idea behind it. So I lost my spot a little bit there, but basically what I was trying to get to with that is that you'll have feelings of more empowerment, feelings of more confidence, because now you've overcome what you thought you could not overcome, right? That's what being outside of your comfort zone is. You're training your brain that it's okay to be a little uncomfortable, right? It's okay to have these feelings. It's okay to feel, knowing that they're just feelings. Okay, it's not permanent to be outside of your comfort zone. You just have to get past that barrier of feelings, and that's where the beauty is in it. So I remember I was little, and I've done things outside of my comfort zone a lot in my life because I like the feeling of being outside of my comfort zone. You don't get to feel that a lot. It's exciting. It's a different feeling. You're adding a new feeling into your experience, which is so fun. So as a child, I remember realizing, wait, I can do whatever I want. I can have whatever experience I want. If I want to go play basketball, I can go play basketball. Just because I'm a dancer now doesn't mean I can't go play basketball. There's no limit to who and what we want to become. So I encourage you to ask the question to yourself, am I unknowingly staying inside of my comfort zone? Am I doing things I've always done unknowingly, right? Because if we're not asking ourselves these questions, then they will stay unknown. We won't know we're staying in our comfort zone all the time. We won't know we're not having these new enriching experiences. And with that, asking yourself, do I think this is as good as it gets? Right? Just like with my dancing. Is that all there is? No. There's so many things we can be doing, you know, and you can try something, you don't like it, don't have to do it again. Try something else, don't like it, don't have to do it again, right? I encourage you to just step outside your comfort zone a little bit, more and more and more, and then one day you're gonna start craving outside of your comfort zone because you're like, what a fun feeling to be excited about something new and fresh in my life, and allowing yourself to enrich your life in that way. It's nourishing, you know, it nourishes your soul, it nourishes your heart, it nourishes your body, it nourishes your mind, and allows you to expand and grow. And it's something I highly recommend. And my challenge for you, my friends, is to get outside your comfort zone this week. And if you can't think of anything, I have something for you. And it is, I'm sure you've heard of it, and there's benefits to this besides being outside of your comfort zone. And this is more of a physically outside of your comfort zone, right, instead of a mental one. Well, I guess it goes hand in hand. So I encourage you, at the end of your shower, flip the cold water on, okay, and stand there for a minute. I started doing this back in, I think, November. I don't remember. Sometime, a few months ago. And I was doing it for health benefits because it helps with blood circulation, it helps with your energy, it helps with your immunity. So it's good for you, your health too. But then also mentally, it's like, this is so uncomfortable. It's so uncomfortable to go from a warm, cozy shower to a freezing water on your body. That's not a comfortable feeling. But in doing it, you get to realize, like, oh, but it's uncomfortable, but it's also just in my head, you know? Take deep breaths, focus on your breath, focus on your belly, your breathing. Allow yourself to feel the water and allow yourself to be uncomfortable physically for a minute. I'm challenging you for a minute to be uncomfortable, okay? And when you do it, be proud of yourself. That's outside of your comfort zone. It's small, but it's outside of your comfort zone. And it will keep growing and growing and growing the more you flex that comfort zone. And for me now, flipping the cold water, it feels good. I love it. It feels good to me now. It's not painful anymore. It's something I actually look forward to at the end of my showers. You know, and it's the same thing with being outside of your comfort zone. It's something that once you start flexing it, you're going to be looking forward to it. It's adding to your life. It's enriching your life. And that's what life is all about, right? So thank you so much for tuning in to this video. And, you know, it's your choice to choose the challenge or not. The choice is always yours, to grow or to not grow. And if you don't use my challenge, try something else, you know, give yourself some room to grow this week. I encourage it. I support you. I love you. Thank you for watching my video. Bye.